Okay, cool. So positioning, you said you're looking at. So we'll see. There are a few things that I noticed the first time I watched it over, but I'll just point it out as we get to it.
Gotcha.
So actually, I'm curious what your thought process is as soon as a game starts. So like, what goes through your mind normally? If anything.
Well, it depends on the map, but to be honest, like I don't think super hard, to be honest with you. Like I kind of just, I'll kind of, like on this map, I tend to just drop left immediately just to try and catch someone off guard. Cause on Rainmaker, most people go for the middle pop. So I think, well, I think actually in this game, do I go left? I'm pretty sure I do go left, but I might just go for pop first.
Go left stack, yeah. I think you do go left stack.
Okay.
If I go quickly. Okay, so you just have like your general, like, here's my rollout, I do my rollout kind of deal. Okay, so you don't like tweak it based on like if you're fighting a slosher or something?
Yeah, not really.
Okay. That's fine, honestly. I don't mind that much. All right, left opening is actually fine. I like that you try to pre-fire this. But one thing of note here, and you're going to see it a lot of times now that I pointed it out, when you hold an angle and you pre-fire the angle, or like a corner rather, you're holding your reticle way too close to the corner.
Okay.
So what happens is you have a semi-inaccurate weapon, so your shots can hit the wall for starters. But secondly, especially with Peeker's advantage, in this game, it's like really bad. Nobody's going to actually like right hand peek you. Normally, they're going to swing, right? Because you have such an advantage when you do that. So if you hold too tight, this is what happens. Okay. The guy will just run past, and you have to adjust. Meanwhile, he gets his aim on you, and he gets Peeker's advantage because he swung, right? So ideally, what you want to look to do is actually hold a little bit further out, maybe around here, so that you're a little bit closer and you're higher likely to land your bullets.
Okay.
And you're going to see you do it multiple times in this game. So I just kind of want to point that out.
So basically like pre-fire a little more to the left to give myself some room.
So take your reticle off of the ledge itself. Assume more often than that, there's some people, like, as you fight people, you'll kind of be like, oh, okay, this guy likes to hold his corners a lot more, right? He likes to do his right side peek type shit. And then you can probably afford to hold a lot closer to the corner, depending on who you're fighting. But typically, people will just swing because there's very little reason to actually hold an angle like that. Here's just mechanical. I can't fault you too much. The only thing is, positioning wise, you're just face rushing a dynamo, but I don't hate it that much because you're coming from an off angle, kind of. Because your guy resliders in left, so you have off angle here. Right. Unfortunately, he dies, but.
By the way, I did want to say, if you notice just anything like mechanically that I'm doing wrong too, I feel free to point that out too. Like that.
Okay. Yeah, like the ledge peeking thing. Yeah. Normally, I don't harp too hard unless it's either a pattern or it's something like if you just miss aim, fine. You know what I mean? But if there's like something you're doing that is like a mechanical error that's like consistent and a bad habit, then I'll point it out.
Gotcha.
But something like that, I won't point out because I think primarily it was your decision making to fight that guy as soon as your teammate goes down. Right? Because nobody traded, like your teammate never traded. So even if you get that one guy, you're probably dying because you committed your role. So at that point, I'd probably just back off as soon as your teammate dies. Because especially in solo, and this is another thing that I noticed too, you want to, even though you're playing Tetra, you still want to value your life a lot. So if you're dying, you want to make sure that it's a death that'll get like a shit ton of value, right? If you just like kill one dynamo and die, you're not going to be able to take space off of it unless that dynamo is like fucking like a god. You know what I mean? But if you're doing something like, I don't know, if you're like you reef slider into cap zone and then you trade out or something like that, like cool, like fuck it. But like generally speaking, you're not playing it like you would in a coordinated environment where you can be a little bit more haphazard with your life, because nobody's going to follow up on you. Very rarely, like 10% of the time, they will. So you matter more than your teammates, generally speaking. It's good pressure. I like that you take bats here because this is the most important thing. It's not great for your position, but also your team comp doesn't really allow for you to do much. Nice. That's fine. Yeah, like something like that. Like I'm not gonna be like anal about it. You know what I mean? The only thing is you're here and you can check this without hard committing.
I see. So don't jump. So don't jump down the ledge yet. Just kind of stay there.
Yeah, like you just went in totally blind. You hard committed blind. But even then, it's contextual because in this scenario, it's perfect. If this area right here is painted, it's dangerous to just like raw peek it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Somebody goes, yeah. But assuming nobody's there, ideally you check your corner like that if you know to check the wall. But mechs are, whatever. Also, you have an auto bomb. Yeah, you could have just like checked it with the auto.
True.
I like the disengage there. Unfortunate. But yeah, I like the idea that you kind of hard committed because you're playing Tetra, right? Like just pushing this angle to begin with. Again, blind, right? You don't actually know what's there. And so now you're like forced to react. The Dynamo should just like one tap you, to be fair, but I do like that as soon as the second guy came in, you like hard disengage because you're whiffing too hard. That's the kind of thing that I want to see. If you're not able to like to quickly secure a kill, your best bet typically is to disengage and reposition because you want to kind of either force them to turn around or you want to force them to like lose information, right? So for example, okay, this guy's off in a corner, right? The second you break LOS, he loses that info. So even though there's another guy shooting at you. If it was just, let's say it's just a squeezer in this instance, the junior can't really do much anyway. But let's just say it's a squeezer. If you're able to disengage, he loses LOS, and now he has to kind of predict what you're doing. Now, granted, your situation is very easy to predict, but the whole idea is like now he has to reposition and reassess if he can even take that fight. It's a squeezer, so he probably can, but the idea is still there.
Sorry, can I ask one question? Before, when you were saying how I kind of went in blind there on that ramp, like what? So I guess my question is like, what's the best thing I should do though? Should I just kind of shark and like scout out who's there first, then go in, or?
Yeah. So there are a few ways to do it. I would very rarely recommend just like holding W. Because again, you need to value your life. When it comes to especially solo queue, like over anything. And it doesn't mean like you can't make plays. You shouldn't try to make plays, but okay. So left side. Okay, so right here, you already acknowledge or can acknowledge that you don't have info, right? So you jump in, you saw some shots, and you hear a Dynamo, and you see this guy here, right? So you see the Dynamo flick, and you see bullets, I guess.
Yeah.
This is kind of your cue. It's like, okay, there are two people here. So if you just rush in, because right now, what do you see on your screen as you go in? You know that there's people here, right? But you have how much of your screen's obscured right now?
Like all of it, basically.
Like all of it, yeah. So if you go in, there's no target that you can acquire off of this. You have to just do like a god prediction,
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I don't expect you to do that, right? So ideally in that scenario, you want to slow down just a second to acquire a target before you like hard dive in. If you don't have a target, then you're just going to like, they're going to get the drop on you 9 times out of 10, unless you hard predict them. So that was your main thing. If it was me personally, I probably would have gone around the left because so much of your vision is obscured.
Right.
I'd probably go around the left of the pedestal, use that as cover, and then look for a beam here.
I see.
Like you're playing fast, and I like that you're playing fast. You have the right like intuition in that sense. Because you know what you need to do to take space, right? But you're just not valuing your life, and that will be a very common trend throughout this entire thing. See, I actually don't hate this, right? Because when you hard engage, you have a target in mind already, right? So you can kind of pre-aim and then like react to him. Granted, he's firing at you, but like whatever, you have better mobility. So I actually don't hate that. And then if you take aggro off of this guy, that's putting less pressure on Plat. So there will only be one person. It's like a 1v3 on Plat if you take pressure from Rainmaker.
So you don't think it was? So you don't think it was bad that I just dropped into like the enemy ink kind of?
I think it was risky, but you have information, right? The dynamo's down, and then you know where the Rainmaker is. So the odds of this guy being alone, it's pretty substantial, you know, because these guys are trying to push, right? And this guy's most likely alone. So it's not necessarily like a 50-50 when you take it. It is in his favor, but there's I would argue that there's like good enough reason, considering you have momentum from this guy dying and you have somebody pushing the Rainmaker. You have good enough reason to shut this guy down before he gets Zuka. Right? Plus he's setting up a crossfire as well. Like if he gets Zuka, you just fire into Plat and it gives the enemy team momentum back. But if you trade here, or even if he kills you, like at least you forced him off, right? You force him off pushing Plat. You force him off defending the team, the Rainmaker from living, basically, you know, and defending against that counter push. So it probably isn't like the best possible play, but I wouldn't like fault you for it, you know. Plus it worked out in your favor, so. Yeah, same deal here, right? So you're going in with no information. I like that you're playing fast. I like it. I'd be a little bit careful considering these guys are off spawn. I like this a lot. I like that a lot. So you're playing a little bit slower. You see your info. And then kind of just go for it. I think you force somebody down here on right side. So you want to turn around and immediately deal with them. Nice. Good reslider. Yeah, same deal. Like you have the idea, you know? It's just you want to make sure that you clear the ramp before you like hard push the ramp. If in the event you don't have information. Here you had enough information, so it's fine. Bubble here, and then like I don't need to like talk about why this is a bad idea.
Yeah.
I'm sure you recognize that.
I just got greedy. I don't know.
Yeah, like this is fine, mind you, if you have the drop on him, right? If you're coming from like an off angle or something, granted you can't really do that here. Maybe if you went up with a block. This is fine. I don't hate it. But it's the fact that he's firing into you and you just like triple roll forward into him and kill yourself. That's the problem. At this point, there's not really anything he can do because there's so many bomb threats, right? Plus the Rainmaker that'll just insta kill him if he leaves. Plus there's literally Fizzy here, right?
Yeah.
So in this scenario, especially considering he's not a threat really at all, maybe he's gonna throw a splat bomb. Just ignore him.
Okay.
So that would be my take, especially since they're 2 down. You have to focus your attention on clearing bats, like clearing dynamo off of bats. And then once you take bats, this junior can't do shit anyway, right? What's he gonna do? Like, there's nothing he can do. So ideally, you would prioritize bats there.
Okay.
One thing, this is like a minor thing that'll help boost your awareness as well. If you're checking this and you don't see anything, and this guy's like super far away, he's out of your range, right? There's nothing you can do. it's fine to like take your camera off this guy, right? Like you're pre-aiming him basically, right?
Yep.
But there's nothing like you can't hit that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And you notice like there's somebody dying to your left and the blaster's shooting at something, right? Even if he's just clearing it.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of your cue. Like, okay, there's nothing I can do immediately here. Let me just look somewhere else. I have the information. Let me look somewhere else to like up my awareness.
Okay.
Because you're not checking top. There's no way you see that because you're too hyper focused on the slosher.
Mm-hmm.
But this also bats is normally I wouldn't stress on this too much because I don't expect you to check every single thing as you push. But bats is like the key area of this map.
Mm-hmm.
So there should always be some kind of either a bomb or even just like looking for like a quarter second. Like, okay, is there somebody up here? Is there pressure? Is there a fight up on bats? And then play around that, right? Because this guy should have killed you.
Yeah.
You got so lucky that he didn't like one tap you, right? He killed this guy, but not you, I think. Which is so unfortunate. Oh no, he didn't. He died earlier. But yeah, like nothing would have changed. You would have been able to pre-aim and see that guy and play around that before he even got to you.
Right.
That's kind of the thing I'm saying. Yeah. Yeah, same deal. Like look how focused you are on this area, and you're completely ignoring bats like entirely. Like the second you see a dynamo like slosh there, I'd probably just like push it with Reef Slider, like frame 1.
Yeah.
Because you know, like, okay, this is the most important part of the map right now. And there's a dynamo there. What the fuck is it gonna do? Odds are it's gonna flick another time. Oh, he dies here actually anyway. But yeah, odds are like he's gonna flick there because there's not really much else he can do there. And if he does that, you just kill him with Reef Slider. There's nothing you can do.
Okay.
And then the other guy gets forced back, so you can like retake bats for free. If anything, it's also a cue for your teammates to push in. That's unfortunate. Okay, we take bats. That's good. Good follow-up. I like the fact that you're playing up here. Again, you're so laser focused on this, so you're not looking around you.
Yeah.
Way too focused. In fact, you're so focused, you don't even acknowledge the bomb that he throws at you.
I'm very... I think that's a key struggle of mine too. I just react so slowly to like swap bombs, and I don't know why, but it's probably because the focus that you're talking about.
I think, yeah, you're just too laser focused on this. It's like you have an idea of what you want to do, and I can see when you came up with this idea. This guy's dying, and the second he dies, you're like, okay, it's time to do something else. So you think about it, and you're like, all right, what do I do next? Oh, there's a guy here. And then at this point, you see how your camera just immediately locks on? You're not thinking about anything else.
Yeah.
Like, generally, I get playing around the objective because it's like, I need to play the objective, I need to win, I need to kill, I need to do everything, right? In solo queue. You will boost your awareness 100 times if you just take a few extra seconds to just make sure you know where everybody is on the enemy team, even on your team. Ideally, in a perfect world, if you have like infinite mental capacity, right? You're looking at what the enemy team is, like enemy weapon wise, where their specials are at, and you're also doing the same for your own team, right? If you don't have like objective becomes secondary in that sense, because if you know where the enemy team is, you can immediately, and like where their specials are, most of the time you can, because I'm sure you have the game sense for it, you can understand, okay, this guy has bubble, so he wants to probably position himself between us and the objective, or immediately behind the objective to stop us from like running it. This guy has Zuka, so he's probably going to position on height or somewhere with a long, narrow sight line so that he can like look for a multi-kill or something.
Right.
This guy has crab, so he's going to position on height or something like that. You can kind of have a general idea of where the person could be, where they want to be, right? And then play around that, and you can do the same thing with your teammates. So you can kind of just have this this idea of like what the entire map looks like. And at that point, if you understand, like if you can just shut down everything that the enemy team wants to do, the objective just kind of gets pushed on its own because you have so much map control, you know? Whereas like you could probably cheese out. There are moments where you can like cheese out a quick pop or something to get a kill or a lot of space all at once. But generally that's not, unless the enemy team are, you know, if you're like a 2000 lobby or something, like you're not going to get big play making like strats out of just trying to like laser focus the objective constantly. You know what I mean? Versus like playing around map control specifically. But yeah, and that it shows that you're kind of like neglecting that in the same way, like the way you laser focus on that, the way you laser focus on like securing your plat instead of securing the key area on bats, because that's where they're going to defend from initially, right? Like there's a lot of key areas on the map that you need to acknowledge are key areas, right? And in solo queue, you need to be the one to kind of lock down all of those, right? Because that's how you like gain consistency, you know? Okay, we know one's left. That's unfortunate. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Like the bubble before, terrible. Bubble this time, perfect. Just quad roll in there. Who gives a fuck?
And it's good
Very
this
well
time
done.
because I kind of came from an angle, right?
Exactly, yeah, because you came from an off angle.
Okay.
If he's firing at you and you do that, then I would shit talk you so hard.
Okay.
Because it was an off angle and your teammates are distracting, W. I'm surprised you don't push this.
Yeah, I don't know what I was doing. I think maybe I was like scared of the dynamo up there. I'm not sure.
I wonder if you think it's like you have lead, so you hold lead type deal. So you're not like, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't usually play like that, but then if I wasn't, then I would have gone forwards. I don't know what I was thinking, to be honest.
Yeah, so you have this is like the fourth time you've done this. Great, but again, I'm gonna reiterate to make sure you're clearing this area first before you just like run straight into it.
Okay.
Because that looks like that's like a blind spot for you. So clear this ramp, then push this ramp.
Okay.
As you're doing right now. This is perfect what you're doing, but you need to get here safely first. Fortunately, these guys don't really, I don't think they've ever intentionally countered you when you did this. So, but generally, like you're gonna have somebody on the ramp watching bats, waiting for that, because it's such a fast rotation for like anybody, like a squeezer or tetra or whatever. So you're gonna have somebody pre-firing that like at all times, especially in coordinated play. But here would be the squeezer's job, but whatever. It's okay. I kind of want to like take this in real quick. Because it looks like you kind of predicted he'd move off of tarp, and he didn't. But at the same time, you're putting yourself in like you're overcompensating your range diff like way too hard to the point where you're in range of the junior. You know, like if the bubble comes out, like sure, whatever, right? But if you look, you're getting close in range before the bubble gets out. Like you're way you're hitting like back here at your max range. You know. So it's kind of that scenario where you're just like holding forward into a bubble. Nice, you're watching top. You can go around the backside here. So
true.
One thing here, and dude, this is like a whole meme when I was coaching Jackpot, where I talk about stacking sightlines. when you need to like take a strong position, you never want to put you in between a teammate and an enemy, directly in between, especially when you're fighting something like anything with AoE, right? Like a slosher.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in this scenario, he might not have enough range. If he was playing height, I don't know if you see my cursor,
Yeah, I see
but
it, I
if he
see
was playing height, okay, like up on top of bats here,
Mm-hmm.
then it would be this scenario. But here, I think you're barely out of range. Well, the Rainmaker is. Generally, you want to make it so that if the enemy has to focus one of you, he won't be able to hit both of you,
Okay.
right? So in this scenario, you have the right idea hugging the wall, right? To kind of like sneak up on this guy, especially with the explosions here,
Mm-hmm.
kind of like masking you. The problem is this guy's pre-firing. He doesn't know if you're there or not. He probably knows if you're there, but regardless if he knows if you're there or not, if he takes 2 sloshes, there's a chance that he's going to hit you and the Rainmaker at the same time and get like double value, quote unquote, right?
Right.
So ideally, you want to go around an angle where you're not immediately behind or in front of your teammate with regards to his perspective. You want to go probably around the left side here and force him to pull away so that the Rainmaker can kind of get a better angle, or vice versa.
So like draw his attention away from the objective basically by going around the.
Yeah, it's not necessarily drawing attention away from the objective. It's something that you do on every weapon, where you don't want to position yourself in a way where a single attack can get more value than like a single player.
I understand.
You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
It's a little poorly worded, but yeah.
No,
so you're always positioning yourself like slightly off angle at all times, so that he has to choose: do I hit one person or the other person? It's not so much about pulling attention away.
Okay. No,
it's like a passive thing.
That's really good info, actually. I don't think about that at all.
Yeah, it's not too intuitive, because you're focused on your own fight, and then you end up all going down at once, and it's like, what the fuck? You know?
Yeah.
Like, how'd that guy get a triple with his Zuka? Oh, wait a minute. We're all standing single file line, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so he does back off here, so that's good. Get a really solid beam. Again, like when you finish,
my focus is not watching everything, right?
So this is kind of like I'm over exaggerating because it's not actually this difficult, but this is kind of like 20xx behavior, right? And you're a good enough player that I'm gonna nitpick you. Okay. So look at who's up and who's not right now. Dynamo's down, right? You're not in a scenario right now where you're fighting, so you should be aware, just glancing up, okay, Dynamo's dead, so he's going to be off spawn soon. So you can either anticipate a super jump, which I don't know why a Dynamo super jump here, or you anticipate the respawn. So you say, okay, is he going to come off left side or right side? And we know that left side of bats is a key area, and your Rainmaker hasn't pushed up far enough to where he has to rotate right yet, right? So he's kind of there, but for some reason he backs off, right? And so at this point, you're still not fighting, right? You're kind of fighting. You're just throwing some pot shots. But in your head, you already recognize that the guy is respawning. So in your head, you're thinking, okay, if I don't push this guy today, if I don't fight him now, in about 5 seconds, 6 seconds, he's going to get the Dynamo to help. So you push it now, or you wait for the Dynamo. You chose to push it now. Good choice, right? But now in your head, you're kind of ticking a timer, like, okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, right? This whole time, you're like, okay, do I check my left at any point, right? Like, you know the guy's off spawn now. So you should ideally be checking this because you don't see him in front of you.
Yeah.
So you don't have info on him. But you do have info on him because you know he just respawned. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. To be honest with you, like, that's just something I need to get better at in general. Just like keeping track of when enemies are like respawning. Like, I don't know. I feel like I just mistakenly don't look at that as much as I should be.
Yeah, it's a habit a lot of people just haven't built. There are some instances, like, I know I used to do it in like Splatoon 1. It's very weird because I actually lost that habit. Where I could like, and the reason I'm pointing this out is because I think it's something that you can just build by just like playing and being like half aware. Even if you're not doing it intentionally, you'll kind of just know. Because it used to be, I don't know if you've ever done that that thing on like Moray back in like the older games, where you can kind of like guess when somebody's gonna drop off the big tower onto snipe. You know?
Yeah.
And then just like insta kill somebody with like a bomb or like a blaster direct or something, because as they fall on it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's kind of like the extreme version of like just predicting when like respawn times. Because you can kind of get a general idea of like, okay, if this guy just respawned, he's going to be here on the map at this point in time, roughly, maybe 1 or 2 seconds off. And that'll kind of dictate where you're looking on the map or like what you're prioritizing at any point in time. I understand why you're looking this way, but if you take the fight with the idea of like the respawn timer in mind, you wouldn't look this way first. You know what I mean? But yeah, fortunately that guy whiffs, but do you live here?
I don't know what I'm doing.
Honestly, like, you stayed in this hard. I don't think there's much you can do. Like, if you go for that guy, he already knows you're there. So it's just like either jump out or like, I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you think I should have jumped out probably?
Yeah, but even then, like, doesn't matter that much.
Yeah, I guess.
Because these guys just picked up Rainmaker. You're gonna start getting your meter. All your teammates are gonna get meter. It's probably fun to just hold them here because you have the lead. So I don't actually hate it. It's unfortunate, but you kind of stalled at least. Oh no, you could push that so hard. The guy went in and he does that thing where I'm talking about. If you come from 2 different angles, even though you're pushing the same choke, you could just walk forward into that guy. It's unfortunate.
You're saying push the slosher that was up there?
So,
or push the people on the left?
This guy going in, this is your cue, right?
Okay.
He's doing this to push elbow, right?
Okay.
To like displace elbow. That's your cue. The second this guy goes here, these guys are focused on him because he's the immediate threat. And they're like, oh, look at this fucking moron, bro. He's reef sliding in and he's going to kill himself. And so because of that, this guy positions like a moron, right? If you just like rolled forward one time, he's dead. Like there's nothing you can do, you know? And it's because that guy like pulled his attention. He played that little bit of an off angle that you're trying to look for, like at all times. If he detonated here, then it'd be a different story, right? If you roll forward, then both of you die, you know? But because he detonated that little bit off angle, you just set up your little crossfire there. This guy is gonna kill himself. Yeah.
All right.
Do you have any questions about that game? Can we go to the next one?
No, we can go to the next one.
Okay, cool. All right, I'll ask you one more time. Do you have any game plan going to this map?
I think my game plan is just go for pop, and then I kind of just judge where to go based on where I see the enemies after that. I don't really have a plan besides that. Especially for this map, since it's kind of just like straight, I guess. So yeah, I don't really have a plan like go left like I did on Inkblot or anything like that. Oh, actually, I think I do on this map. I do tend to drop right. I think I gave up on pop because I saw they were getting it, so I just immediately try and go right here to see if anyone goes for me, I guess.
Yeah, a big point here is you can recognize generally who wins early pop.
Right.
Look how many lethals they have. And they have 2 high object damage weapons. You're not going to get the pop. Even if you wanted to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, you just kind of, you want to like give it up immediately. And just play around the positioning itself, understanding that you're just not going to have mid at your start. Personally, I actually like to drop left here on Tetra.
Left? Okay.
I don't think there's a wrong answer. If you found that right works better, than you're better than me anyway in the game, so maybe that works better for you. You know what I mean?
I mean, I wouldn't say that, but yeah. I think
no. At least like mechanically, play like gameplay wise, yeah. Good here. This is kind of like that pacing thing. It's funny because you have a little bit of the opposite problem. Maybe because you just don't know exactly how you want to play it. as you do Inkblot. Inkblot, you had a very consistent idea that you were going in with, right? But you kind of give up pop, and then you just kind of turn off. Your whole brain turns off, and you just kind of like vibe here, which is interesting because if you did drop right, you'd set up a bit of a crossfire there for your teammates. I think they get the kill anyway. Yeah. But you do it so late, right? Like this whole time, you would have been a factor in both of these kills had you. Yeah, and you would have been there sooner to stop this guy here. So this is kind of what I'm talking about, where you want to hold a little bit off the wall. This is fine. Well, I don't think you're aiming for the corner, but this is generally the I'd probably aim maybe around here. This is probably where you probably want to aim off a ledge. Same here. You probably aim around like here.
Gotcha.
For a guy peeking this. Beautiful. And now here's a little bit different because the angle's wide and he's going behind it. Right? So here it's fine to aim close because this guy's going to try to take the path of least resistance. He's going to hug the wall as best as he can. Here, awesome. It's when they peek outwards that you want to make sure that you're holding a little bit further out. The hell is that guy popping Zuka for? Here you honestly just want to run forward. Nice. Oh, beautiful. And you take the left. That's fine. So you hug the corner too hard again?
Yeah.
So ideally, you just hold that right there.
Okay.
And they'll just walk right into it. Or if they don't, the flick that you have to do is a lot less drastic than this to this. You know? And generally, you can get a feel for how far you do generally want to hold just by playing the game. Like now that you're aware of it. So if you see consistently, like, okay, when I fight people, just generally, they tend to come out this far. So now you know I'll just hold out this far, you know?
Yeah.
And then you'll change that based on the person that you're fighting. I already mentioned this earlier, but just to reiterate, you'll change it based on the person that you're fighting. Okay. If they like to hold a little bit tighter, if you know you're fighting that shooter, hey puppy, you just hold the angle a little bit tighter, and vice versa. If they just like go way out and swing, then you kind of play, you know, with that idea in mind. The idea that you'll have to flick out to match their swing. This is fine, but remember the sightline thing I was talking about?
Right.
So immediately you want to find like if this guy's standing on you, you can't tell your 52 to fuck off. You need to fuck off. Right? Or else
Zuka.
a Zuka or a Rainmaker shot or something comes in and kills both of you.
Right.
Now, granted, you have a wall, so you have a little bit of like leeway here, but nice drop. Solid. Beautiful. Okay. That poor guy.
Yeah.
I love when everybody like stops playing the game just to camp
just to get the
jump.
kill. Yeah. Was that the line of sight thing again? Because we like stacked on each other, so we both died to that stamp.
It's a little bit harder to fault this one. So you go for the hard engage, and then guy pops stamp, and your push just ends, right?
Yeah.
Like it was kind of his thing for jumping into you. I don't know why he did that. I can't really fault you for that. Okay. The only thing I can really fault you for is just like you face rushed a fucking
inkjet
without seeing what was on the ground, right?
Yeah.
So again, awareness thing. I can't fault you too hard because it's like if you cancel the jet, dope, you know. And it wasn't like a hard cancel. But at this point, you lose information, and your teammate goes down, so you know somebody's there. You see the inkjet, but you don't have enough information on the bottom. And then while just looking at this guy, you're not really like taking into account what's down here.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like that's like a little too nitpicky. Like, granted, you know he has hammer too. Oh no, he just got hammer. No. Oh yeah. No, he just got hammer. I wouldn't expect you to do that if you're hard pushing that guy already. So yeah, it's like whatever. It's bad, but it's like I don't want to nitpick on that.
See, that's just another thing though. Like, if I knew that guy had hammer, like I just struggle to like keep track of what's going on like on my screen while simultaneously like consistently looking at the top to see like who's alive and like what specials are there and whatnot.
It's hard. One thing I like to recommend is you can set a timer. I don't know if you can play headphones with audio from your PC and your game. If you set like a timer to like tick every, I don't know, or like chime every like 15 seconds or so, just to make it habit to like glance up. You don't have to like look at everything, but just glance up. Be like, oh, something's shining. Let me just glance. You know, because even if this guy didn't just get stamped, right? This guy has Zuka, and he's off respawn right now. So odds are he's probably going to super jump in. So if you play in the open here, you're kind of like setting yourself up to just like insta die.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Actually, you couldn't have read. I didn't even see that. You couldn't have read this guy unless you predicted it because he came from top block. He like jumped across and immediately popped hammer.
No, that's interesting though. So every 15 seconds probably, I just try and look up.
Yeah, the idea is to you're not doing it to like do 15 seconds on the dot, right? You're setting a time where it's consistent enough that you can kind of make it a habit. So you kind of ingrain into your head like, oh, it's been a little while since I looked up. Let me just look up. It doesn't have to be 15 seconds exactly, you know?
Okay, yeah.
It basically what'll happen is every time there's downtime, you'll take that opportunity to like glance up.
Okay.
You know? Because you're not going to, when you hear the chime, you're not going to instantly be able to look up if you're in the middle of a fight. What you will do is like internalize the chime and then look up the second you're able to. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you want to set it to a short enough interval to where it's constantly in your ear, whether or not you're fighting.
Okay.
This is an awareness thing. So you know he has Zuka. So you want to be very careful setting up like long line of sights like this. I'd probably be hugging far into the wall.
Okay.
Or into the plat because you know he has Zuka, right? Because like a better player would have just killed you both right there. That's unfortunate. Did he see you there? Oh yeah, you were firing. Okay.
That was lucky.
You're so lucky. Yeah. I didn't want to say it, but I was thinking it.
No, that's so lucky, yeah.
I actually like that you ignore the Rainmaker there. Or the stamp, sorry. Oh my god, the target selection. Okay, so when you hard focus the target, because we were talking about this earlier, right? Where you want to prioritize the target. You can't just, unless that target's no longer viable, you don't want to just switch.
Yeah, like let's just start aiming at someone else. Yeah.
Especially if that someone else doesn't exist yet. Because you have the idea. I know because I do it the same. I do the same thing. You drop and you're like, oh shit, look at this easy ass kill. You know? And it's like, Oh, okay, well now you didn't kill the Rainmaker, and that guy didn't jump in, so you didn't land bullets on that guy even though you're firing at the jump. So now you just fucking die.
Yeah.
You know?
So in that situation, you're saying I probably should have just kept aiming at the Rainmaker no matter what? Is that what you would recommend?
You pick a target and you go for it. Like
Okay.
if you're gonna dive to sacrifice yourself, because there's no universe unless there's no universe in which you live this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So to get any value, you have to just insta kill. And granted, like any kill here is not in your favor because they're all coolered and they're just gonna jump in anyway instantly. Unless it's the Rainmaker. So at this point, the only kill you want to focus is the Rainmaker because it's the only one that'll actually slow their push. Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I feel like it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
You did get a little value because as you dropped and 4 people looked at you, 52 also dropped and was able to kill Rain. So, and then I think he gets another 2. Or is it just 1? Yeah, he gets another 2. 3. Oh my lord. He's him. Nice. That guy's off spawn, so you can push. You can push, you can push, you can push.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm doing that. I think when I just see the map, like mainly the enemy's color, I just like, oh my god, like need to paint a little bit, need to paint a little bit. I guess that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, this is where that respawn awareness thing comes from too, right? Because okay, you ask yourself, this guy's dead, this guy's dead, this guy just respawned, sorry. So immediately you're asking yourself, okay, Zap, is Zap alive? Where's Zap? Where's Zap? And then Zap's like, here I am. Please kill me. You know? So now, because this is the only guy alive and this guy's off spawn, if he didn't super jump right here, then he's all the way back there, which means all of mid is free right now.
Right.
So the second you kill this guy, this is your cue to just book it past mid and make sure you get there before the sword does. Right? The whole time you're just looking for sword. So like, let's see if we can find him actually, because he should be like all the way up by snipe right now. Is my guess. Actually, I think I just saw it. I think he was like right there. Oh yeah, see, he's actually further back, right? So all of this is just free. You could take it and actually push ramp if you were fast enough, and hold off of ramp, or block or top right or anything like that. Nice. Again, because they're backing off, then you hug the corner, the ledge.
Yeah, yeah.
They're on the reticle. Beautiful. Wipe again. Why are you so slow?
I don't.
Oh, you want to reslide? I see.
Yeah,
what you're doing.
yeah. I think that's what I was doing. Yeah.
But take space though, because you could take top right and then reslide the same spot.
Right, right.
That's unfortunate. Yeah, I like that you hugged right side as 52 went left. It's just unfortunate that he kind of converged on the shot. This is fine. That guy's probably gonna kill himself. Is that the Zap? Oh no, it's the Sploosh. There's no reason to jump. Like, you have a teammate right there. You shouldn't be jumping to the front line like that. Again, like you prioritize your life. Your life means more than anything.
Okay.
Right? The only time you would sacrifice your life is if you have to go for like a hero play against like a Rainmaker late or something. So to super jump in like this immediately, you'll get a cool Twitter clip like 10% of the time.
Yeah.
But like you're just risking your life for no reason when you could just like waste 3 extra seconds and guarantee you stay alive and get like a shark or like off angle potential, you know? Nice. Good off angle. No, you held it.
Did I aim too close to the wall again?
You didn't even aim.
Uh,
You just didn't expect him to push you.
yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I thought he would like kind of
Yeah.
stay behind the wall.
Good off angle. Good commit. Beautiful. That's fine. In a perfect world, you get 3.
Mm-hmm.
But this is good. Actually, got a shit ton of value out of that, now that I think about it. You drop, get 1, camp to jump. That guy loses meter, guaranteed. And that was a zap, so you don't have cooler. And then both of them drop off of height, so they have to go back behind the choke. That was like a fucking perfect play. A beautiful play. And they wasted Zuko for that. They just only have sword or stamp. And they wasted stamp W. And this guy died a 3rd time in a row. His tap, bro. Nice. Rotate around left. All right, I'm gonna be nitpicky again.
Okay. Please do. Please do.
Yeah. Sword dies. Zap dies. Zuka right. You know where Zuka is, and the stamp was just thrown. You know where the sploosh is. They're all on right side, which means all of left side is unsecure.
Mm-hmm.
And these guys are off spawn, so they're either gonna jump right or they're gonna come from spawn, and it'll take like 10 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
So in those 10 seconds, what should you be doing? Remember, we don't give a fuck about objective. Because objective will just happen if you have enough space.
Okay. So I should take space on the left side then, since that's open?
It's completely uncontested. All of mid is uncontested right now.
Mm-hmm.
So ideally, what you'll do is you'll drop left and just paint up as much as you can.
Okay.
Because you cut out their retreat. All their jumps are going to go here. So if they want to retreat, they have to retreat into you with no ink in mid.
Okay.
And secondly, if there's anybody coming this way, right,
Mm-hmm.
you'll have information on that. If these guys don't die fast enough, you can just straight up pincer them.
Right.
If you really wanted to. So now these guys are in mid, and now they're 2 down again. So now these 2 have to wait or stagger, right? And it's like a staggered loop if you play it well enough, or if they don't play it well enough, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
But because you're playing so far back here, you're just playing like whatever objective, right? You just get the kill. At this point, like, I wouldn't fault you if you just stayed up here, got the kill, and then took left, right? Because you still have about like 6 or 7 seconds before there's any contest here on from mid. But the fact that you just kind of vibed here is the problem that I have.
Yeah.
Because a faster player, these guys are down, but this guy, this Tetra, is all the way up by ramp. Like all of mid is painted already. Right? And you have Reef Slider, and you're ready for the next choke. You know? But like all this time is like wasted. These guys jumped in. Like all of mid is uncontested.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's nothing they can do if you had that left side. Now, granted, they still died anyway, because I don't know what the fuck you're fighting, but nice. But yeah, like, you would have been like in their spawn if you really wanted to.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much time. Uh-oh. What happened here? Same thing I talked about before, right?
Yep.
Beautiful. Disengages. At this point, you hold that angle, that really, really tight angle, as they're disengaging. When they dip behind it, you have to open your angle a little bit. Because look how every single time
they always
swing
go out that
past
far.
your reticle.
Yeah.
Yep. Granted, you still get yours. W. Oh my god.
That was lucky.
This is fine, whatever you do here. Cool. Do you have any questions about that game?
No. That was very insightful.
All right. I feel like I'm kind of repeating myself a lot
Mm-hmm.
to the point where we probably don't even need to do these other 2 games.
Yeah.
But
That's fine. That's fine.
it's up to you. It's up to you if you want to. We've just been at it for an hour, so up to you.
Okay. Let's see. I think you watched this already, right? I think one of. Oh, I don't know.
I
if you
watched this next game. I don't think I watched the last game, but
Okay,
I watched the
I
first
think
3.
if I recall correctly, one of these next two, like I play like really bad. If I recall, so if it's okay, can we just watch that one? We don't need to watch the other one, but whichever one I played really bad in, like just was like a terrible game. I could use some insight
KD
on
game?
it. Not well, yeah, we definitely lost. I think it was just bad KD as well. But just my decisions was just horrible in it too. I remember that.
Well, you lost this one, so
Okay, yeah,
maybe
it was
check this
probably
out.
this one then.
And for the record, I don't mind doing both. It's up to you.
Oh no, we can just do this one.
Okay.
It's all good.
All
Yeah,
right,
I remember
so
this recycled
your
Brella
idea is
was like
dropping
throwing
left.
me off.
Good retreat. Whoa! You ignored bats. You set up
Yeah.
a crossfire. Hey, it's interesting. You didn't wait at all this time. Normally you do. Normally, the 4 times that I saw you do it, you did.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You just kind of hold there, and then you push when you're ready. But here you just kind of rushed it. I wonder if you did recognize the guy on top left, and that's why you rushed it, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I got a little scared that he'd just shoot me, but like I didn't have confidence that I could kill him, so I just
Yeah.
lasered the people on the right. I guess that was my mindset.
Nice. Beautiful. You're doing mostly fine here, outside of that one rush. Top right, you're looking too far. Dude, the guy on your right, guy on top left. Yeah, let me reef slider goal. What?
Yeah.
What? All right, so we're fighting the most like unnecessary
Yeah,
thing
the most
ever.
pointless person that I could be fighting.
That's unfortunate. I actually just fucking diffed. Make sure you're healing. Honestly, your biggest problem is just didn't wait. Like, okay, you put yourself in this awkward spot
Mm-hmm.
to begin with. You have splash down here. You know somebody's here, at least one,
Mm-hmm.
right? And given that there's only one splashdown weapon, you know it's the Brella. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So you have to immediately ask yourself, like, okay, this position that I'm putting myself in, like, okay, I'm actually curious how long you had to react to the splashdown. Okay, so like here. So you're kind of focused more so on like setting up a defense rather than actually dealing with or reacting to whatever's happening. You're not looking at like where people are. So now it's too late. Now it's like 5 seconds or more like 3 seconds later where you're like, okay, wait, this guy's actually a threat. And now you're kind of putting yourself in a spot where there's not much you can actually do. If you back up right, you just die. So you're forced left, good play. And then at this point, you see how he doesn't push you?
Yeah.
That's kind of your incentive right now to just full heal. Because there's like a little bit of a break. So you full heal or go to the top of the box or something that kind of like stalls the fight out just a little bit longer. Because the dually, you would have gotten the kill. The dually just 2-tapped you because you were hurt.
Yeah.
Right? Because this guy, I don't think he hit you. So you probably would have been able to kill maybe the Brella or something. I don't know. The Brella was hurt. Oh, actually, no, the Brella healed. That's why he didn't push you. Yeah, you land 2 on him, he launches shield, and then he just takes that time to heal. So he's actually doing what I was saying. Oh my god. That poor guy. I'd be so mad. I'd be so mad. Granted, I probably also wouldn't have missiled in the open, but... I'm gonna assume that you knew that he was 1-up. Like, he was the only 1-up. Like, because they're 3 down right now?
Uh-huh.
And you gave your back to enemy spawn for, like... I'm gonna assume that you knew he was the only 1-up.
Yeah. Oh, so you're saying, like, you think the only reason I decided to rush him like that was because I knew he was the last one alive?
So, the problem is... Okay. We need information, right? When we play?
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about how ideally you want to know, like, okay, what specials are up, what players are up, to get a general idea of, like, where everybody is.
Mm-hmm.
This guy goes down, and let's just, like, assume they're 1 down. These other 3 are up.
Yep.
This is what I'm saying. I'm assuming you know that he's only 1 up, even though you don't look at your UI.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
How often do you actually see information on your left side? And for how long? Is kind of what I'm asking. So right here you have information, kind of, right? And now you lose info. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's a full respawn. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. You still don't know what's on right.
Yeah.
Right? Around like 15 seconds before you scouted right side, like, at all.
Okay.
Right?
Uh-huh.
So you don't really know where anybody is. Now you know that there's like a mist guy over here. So I'm guessing, I forget what this guy has. I think
it's mist. It's mist.
Right?
Yep.
So you have an idea of where one of those guys are. And then you see this. So that's reflux, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you know that guy's there. You don't know that guy's there. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of information that you just kind of gave up because it took you so long to break the beacons and so long to react to the dually on right side.
Yeah, so I think... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
If they were 3 up, right? Like you just killed the reflux and they're 3 up, the odds that you die in the time it took for you to get any information behind you are like astronomical because you gave your back to their spawn.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So that's what I was kind of saying. Like, because it was just the dapples up, I will assume that you kind of took your time with it and gave your back to the enemy, the entire enemy side of the base for that long because it was only him up, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess...
I feel like I'm kind of being generous there.
I think my mindset, because I mean, it's not like I never look at my UI. Like, I do acknowledge when like they're only 1 or 2 up, and then I do push based on that. But yeah, I think I went for the dapples thinking I could kill him faster than I did, and he kind of got away. And then I think my mistake was trying to keep pushing him when I should have probably disengaged after he got away.
Yeah, I think it was specifically the beacons that were the issue. Like, I think you had the right idea to force this guy out, but then he kind of disengages, and then you're like, you're just like, fuck it, bro. I'm just gonna take out the beacons.
Yeah,
and it takes like so long for you to do that. If they jump there, like they're jumping into death, you know, if you take the Rainmaker out of there. So. Yeah, at this point, it's like, you just disengage. You know? Anyway.
I don't know why I detonated that so early.
Yeah, I don't know why either. I think the result would have been the same regardless.
Oh yeah.
That bow's pretty decent. Yeah, I mean, he just backs up like a little bit further. And he has pedestal to play around. Oh, actually, no, maybe you would have killed him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, you definitely would have killed him. He like got stuck in this little pixel of ink too. You 100% would have. Yeah, and sightline thing, right? So like the initial is fine. I would probably shit on on Jackpot if they did that.
Mm-hmm.
But here's where it like becomes an actual problem, right?
Mm-hmm. So do you think I should have gone around the left side, or just still attack that same area, but just don't be right next to the teammate?
As long as you're not sharing a straight line between the enemy and you.
Okay.
Right? It can be a little bit off, and it depends. The real answer is it depends. It depends on what you're expecting, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're just fighting a Rainmaker and you're just fighting a Squeezer, there's very little it can do unless you're like directly on top,
Mm-hmm.
like you are right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I probably wouldn't be upset if, for example, if this guy went straight forward, which he doesn't, he goes to the left. But if you went straight forward, if you went like right here, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
close, but it's still separate enough. As soon as he goes left, you should probably play around the right side. You got force left, but
yeah,
you know.
Mm-hmm.
But the whole idea is to avoid a situation in which you're stuck like this. You know? Actually, this is literally what I'm talking about. You actually heard the beacon. So that's the Dapple, right?
Mm-hmm.
Behind you. Where it's kind of just like a lack of awareness of what's going on around you.
Yeah, hard focusing too much on just the jump in.
But yeah, a lot of the problems are just like, it's just the same thing over and over, you know?
Yeah.
So I think if you address it once, like all of these games change. Care, back? Okay. Yeah, fuck that wall. Look how long you give your back.
Yeah.
You know the bow's out there. Right?
Mm-hmm.
The bow's shooting in your direction. Like, bro. So in a scenario like this, you have so much map control. I think you just shark it. Like, you just play kind of slower.
Yeah.
And just look for the opportunity. Because you hard engage, make yourself known, and then you aim after, right? You're rolling first and aiming later. In this scenario, and look at the angle you have to shoot at. This is like, I wouldn't even expect like Mauricio to fucking hit that shot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is fine. You know there's 3 right, so this is actually a good angle to have. You hear the one on your left, though. I don't hate the reslider. It's fine. Maybe I do hate it.
Probably not a great idea in hindsight.
Yeah, maybe I do hate it. That was a bad call on my part. Holy shit. There's no way. Yeah, I don't really know what to say because you're kind of just W keying.
Yeah.
Like, there's no regard for your life whatsoever. You're just holding forward and just dying. Like, okay. Your reflex or your little bow guy just died immediately, and it could be an indication of like they're looking away. Let me secure that kill and then back up. But you don't get it. And that's your cue to just like immediately back out if you're not able to clean it, you know? Because now like this fight is so bad like the spot that you're in is so bad
Yeah.
that you're just gonna end up staggering yourself. Maybe you trade if you're lucky, but dude, like there's no way.
Yeah.
Same deal. Okay, so they're one up. I'm assuming you know that they're there. Why is he jumping? Why are you giving your back to the team again? Stop! The bow's behind you.
Yeah, I don't know. I just get too like hard focused, and I just don't even like think about that.
Dude,
But,
crazy.
yeah.
Again, like you're just W keying. There's nothing to even say. You're just feeding. Like,
Yeah.
like you held it together for the first like half of the game, and then it just kind of devolved.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything much to say.
Yeah.
There's
yeah.
all this stuff from before. I don't think you had the angle holding issue there because it just never showed itself. You didn't have the opportunity. But like, yeah, the only reason it felt worse is because in the last like minute and a half, you just fucking killed yourself 100 times.
Yeah.
And you did it. You did it every once in a while throughout the game earlier, but
Yeah.
not
Yeah,
to
I don't
that
know
extent.
what I was thinking there. I was just getting desperate. I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah.